Hi guys, this is Gadget Man 404 and today I'm doing taking my FreeX apart, what's left of it, and I'll be taking all of the internal parts out and eventually be fitting them on to test a wooden frame, just a basic H frame, and then I'll test it extensively, just make sure that the flight controller's working and the GPS is doing return to home properly, because it didn't the last flight and that's why it crashed. And then I will be eventually putting it into another shell. I might get a 3X, or I've been looking at some Phantom 2 or 3 shells because they're solid bottomed. Some of the 4s, they're built, there's holes where it fits around the gimbal, whereas on the 2 and 3 you can fit the gimbal to it, and that's what you can do with the FreeX. Mine is a solid bottom and you can fit your any 2-axis or 3-axis gimbal. You just need to figure out the wiring. I've got the stock gimbal, so I know which pin it goes in, etc. And this video is literally just taking it apart, taking out all the screws, keeping them safe, and rewiring or resoldering a wire onto, which is the left corner, but that is actually the front right motor when it's turned the right way. I do have another motor. I will be soldering it on when I've taken this apart, and then I will just see how it goes basically. So now, as I'm starting, I'm just talking about, I've got to take all the screws out. There's about 30 or 40 screws. There's like 8 Allen key screws on each motor arm. Then you've got the legs that are held on. Then there's the screws that hold the actual flight control board with all the components on to the bottom of the shell, etc. So I am doing fast forward time lapse. By the time I did this video, the length, it was over 50 minutes to take it all apart, which is quite extensive. I think that's, took a while. I've never taken a drone apart before, so I didn't know if I'd come up against any obstacles. So all I'm really doing is I'm watching a bit of Netflix while I'm doing this. The video that's on in the back, it's called Beyond. If you like your sci-fi, then give that a watch. I think they've done 2 seasons of it up to now. It's really good. So this is all I'm doing now, is just taking all the little Allen key screws, or hex screws as the Americans call them, and I'm just taking them all out, keeping them safe. I've got like a little plastic lid that I was putting them in. I haven't stuck them to my magnetic screw holder, just because I don't know how long they're going to be on there. I've got no qualms about them falling off, because they're not going to. And if you hear that wind, I'm actually walking my dogs, watching this video, doing a voiceover. So I'm multitasking. I'm taking 2 dogs for a walk, editing, voiceovering a video while I'm walking around the street. So people probably think I'm crazy. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to my subscribers, 380 of you. So it's just the same, just taking the screws out. It's quite a process, and you just have to take your time. You can't rush. It's like, you don't want to screw the threads. You don't want to take the thread off your bolts and stuff, your nuts and whatever, because you'll have a job. when you've got to put it back together. Now what I do need to get is another 4 little Allen key bolts for the motors, because I didn't just lose the motor, I lost the whole section of that arm in the crash. The video has been posted now because I got my drone back. I was contacted by the police. Unfortunately, as it was flying away from me, it was flying under a tree line and I couldn't actually see how far it was away from me. I didn't even know that it was still flying. I thought when it went over the trees that it had come down in some fields, but it was actually still flying. So I'm looking at getting a little GPS tracker. That's my next purchase, and that is going to go on this drone. Also, I've got an OSD that I'm looking at rigging up so I can see what voltage I've got on my battery. I can see how many satellites I've got, because you don't have telemetry as standard, you have to buy a separate OSD, which they're not expensive, but they come from China and there's no instructions. So I'm looking at the original installation of the FreeX one and then trying to convert this one, which hasn't got the same colour wires and everything. So it's all a bit of a, I'll get round to it when I get round to it. I'm not in no rush. It'll get done when it gets done. Sorry for any background noise. As I say, I'm walking the dogs and it is a bit windy. And I'm just doing the last few Allen key screws. It took, like I say, the original video took over 50 minutes to film. I was doing it in sections, and some of the sections I wasn't actually filming, so it probably took over an hour to take it all apart. But it should be working as soon as I get this wooden frame organised, and I'll just tape everything on or cable tie it. I'm not making it permanent. So here's the actual thing. Now slowed it down because it's done. I'm going to solder that motor to the ESC and get it all up and running for you guys. I'm new to the DIY side of this. Now that's the GPS module. I have tested all the components and I think everything is okay until I get it on a frame of some sort and get it in the air. I'm not going to know exactly how good or not it is, but I'm hoping. Sorry again for this noise, I'm just walking into a gale, but I've got a Bluetooth headset on while I'm holding my phone with one hand and got my dogs in the other. But we're about 8 minutes in and it's about 13 minute long. But yeah, everything worked other than stay there. Tuck it in. Sorry about that. My dog's trying to attack another dog. They don't bite, they just bark. But they were just trying to jump, so I was just holding them back. Continue to subscribe to my channel, guys. You want to see more things, hopefully not like this, because this is happening because of what happened the other day. I don't want my drones to be flying away and having no clue where it goes. It could have hit a house, it could have hit somebody. I'm not saying you know, I took all the precautions I could, tested it when I took off, but from takeoff there was something not right with it, and as you can see, all the lights are flashing, which is green at the front, red at the back. The LED on the GPS is just solid because it hasn't actually got lock. I think on this version, when it gets a lock, because there's a battery in there as well, it blinks blue. When it's not got a lock, it's solid blue. So you can just see there, so my phone is actually turned upside down. So as I throttled there, it was, all the motors were spinning. So all the motors were spinning then. What the frickin' hell is going on? So yeah, all the lights are flashing. It powered on when I connected the battery, which is great. It cut out, as it does after 10 seconds of no throttle. The motors cut out. So yeah, please continue to subscribe. Gadgetman404 out.
Thanks for watching Gadgetman 404's channel.